Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be talking about bed leveling and how important it is into getting good quality 3D prints with your 3D printer. So in this video I'm going to be covering why bed leveling is important, how to tell if your bed is level, and how to adjust your bed if it's not level. And along the way I'll also discuss some good practices that you can apply when dealing with your bed for 3D printing. So bed leveling is important because it ensures that the first layer of your print adheres properly to the bed. If your bed is not level, your print might entirely fall off the bed or turn out poor in quality. And in certain cases, your nozzle may be too high from the bed or too close to the bed, which might result in the filament either not being extruded properly or your nozzle actually crashing into the bed. Ensuring that your bed is level can help to avoid these issues and produce a better quality print at the end of the day. In addition, bed leveling is important in ensuring a smooth and clean first layer, which is crucial for building up subsequent layers of the print. By taking the time to level your bed properly, you can save time, filament, and frustration in the long run. So now I'm going to walk you through how to properly level the bed initially before we go into the details and properly fine-tune the level. If you want to initially level your 3D printer, there should be some leveling settings somewhere in the menus of your 3D printer. So people like to use paper for this method. However, I prefer to use something that's called feeler gauge, which is a more accurate representation of the actual distance, because sometimes papers you have thinner ones and thicker ones. But in the case of the feeler gauge, you can choose the exact distance you would like the nozzle and the bed to be. So we start by moving the print head to one of the corners of the 3D printer bed. Then what we do is we adjust the springs or the silicone dampers at the bottom of the bed by turning the wheel at the bottom clockwise or counterclockwise to move the bed up or down. What you want to feel is slight resistance when you move your feeler gauge between the nozzle and the print bed. But don't worry, because if you don't have a feeler gauge, a piece of paper will do fine as well. However, I just prefer to use the feeler gauge as it's more accurate. So once you do this for all four corners, you want to go back and do it a second time, as sometimes when you move the first spring, the spring on the opposite side might move as well. So you want to do this twice around the bed just to be more accurate. So in this first step, I'm going to be showing you how to check if your bed is level. So I prefer doing this process in a slicer called Superslicer, as it generates calibrations depending on what you need, and in this case, it has a perfect calibration for us. To check if your bed is level using Superslicer, you'll first need to generate a Gcode file for your test print. You can do this by setting up a simple test print in this menu over here. So once you have your Gcode file ready, we can move towards the 3D printer to start the test print. As the print is underway, you're able to see if the bed is level by observing the surface of the test print. So if your bed is level, the model should look something like this. If your bed is too low, then your model should look something like this. And if it's high, the model should look something like this. So you have to keep in mind that if the bed is too close to the nozzle, it may be very dangerous, as the nozzle itself may scratch into the surface of your bed, potentially permanently damaging it. If the bed is not level, you can use the bed leveling screws to level the bed before continuing the print. So by using this process, you can ensure that your bed is level and ready for your next print. With a properly leveled bed, you should be able to get great quality prints. Bed leveling is very important in 3D printing, and it's one of those aspects that can help you really get a good quality print if done correctly. Here are a few tips to help you get the best results. So number one is to occasionally check the level of your 3D printer. Sometimes you might realize that the springs at the bottom tend to loosen. So in these cases, you might have to level your 3D print bed over again, or in certain cases you might end up scraping the surface too hard, which in turn will unlevel the 3D printer bed. So the next tip I can offer you is to clean the bed regularly, because even though your bed might be level, sometimes there might be oils from your fingers or your hands that get onto the surface, which in turn may cause the prints to sometimes not stick because of said oils on the print surface. One of the ways that you can clean your 3D printer bed is by using isopropyl alcohol. You can spray some isopropyl alcohol on the surface of your print bed and wipe it down with a paper towel. This will help remove all the oils that have gathered on the print surface. The next thing you can do is to take your time. So you really want to take your time and properly level the print bed, because it's better to take your time and properly adjust everything than to rush the process and end up with a poorly printed object. So by following all these tips and the process stated above, you can improve the quality of your prints and reduce the risk of print failures. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any other suggestions or ways that you like to level your 3D printer bed, you can leave them in the comments below. And remember, the key to a successful 3D print is to take your time and to pay attention to the details. Happy printing!